Welcome, good day everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey everybody.
And today the news at Turbine is that they are on winter break. That's right, they're not at the office, they're not doing anything, except I'm hopefully enjoying themselves so they could come back to continue working on the game when the break is over.
That's right, they need to get back so they can get that Tomb of Horrors out. Alright, not Tomb of Horrors, I mean Temple of Elemental Evil, sorry.
I was like, wait a minute, when did I miss that story? I was joking about it before, but I don't think...
Well, I was looking up on my shelf and I saw my Tomb of Horrors box set.
Ah, yes. All right, yeah, so they could come back all nice and refreshed to get ready for working on the Temple of Elemental Evil and any other sinister plans they have for us in the month of January.
That's right. You never know with Turbine. You never know what they have up their sleeves.
That's right. So let's go into the store sales then.
Well, this week, the free sample of the week is a Lesser Slayer Count Boost. You can use coupon code SLAY23. Once again, SLAY23. What are those per account? So as I always say, choose wisely on which character you use that on. Lesser Slayer Count Boost, always handy to have, and always a great free sample to have. 20% off in the store, True Hearts of Wood, Lesser Hearts of Wood, Quest XP Elixirs, healing items, and spell point potions. Also, this is the final week of these specials. They were doing specials all throughout December, and this being the end of the month it is the final week. Through January 1st, you can get 50% off more inventory space. Yay, more inventory space. 75% off the Morning Lord Iconic Hero. 50% off the Evening Star Challenge Pack. 50% off the Half Elf Race. 35% off the Greater Tomes of Learning, and also 35% off all augments. So that is it for the store this week.
Well, the store at least is a pretty busy.
Yeah, there was quite a bit going on in the store, and some good things and some good prices, especially in that inventory space. It's always good to see inventory space on sale, and that's the best time to buy it when it's on sale.
All right, then let's go into the site news, where it sounds like we have a new feature.
We do. We are now going to start featuring DDO Players News Screenshot of the Week. If you have a wonderful screenshot you have taken while you were adventuring around the lands of DDO, you can send that in to us, podcast@ddoplayers.com. Once again, send any screenshots to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we might use your screenshot. The one this week is one I took, as a matter of fact. I was adventuring around and came up against, well, I call it a Drider. It's in the quest, they call it a Drow Scorpion Cleric, but it's basically a Drider. And I thought, hey, this would make a cool screenshot. So I took it real quick before trying not to die while he was attacking me. Which I managed to do, and I think I got a pretty decent screenshot in the process.
Actually, would a Drider be mixed with a Scorpion, or is it with a...
Well, technically...
Name sounds like a spider than a...
Technically, Driders are mixed with spiders, because it's for
Loth.
To do with Loth, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's probably why it's not quite a Drider, since it's a different type of arachnid here.
But these things were pretty nasty and pretty big. As you can kind of see in the screenshot, it towers over me. And I have my elf. I'm a drow, actually, so I'm pretty tall. And this thing was way taller than me.
And it sounds like that stinger could just bash you on the head.
Yep, pretty much. And he did several times, and he poisoned me several times. So there you have it. So that is our number one screenshot of the week. Once again, if you have taken some cool screenshots, or you're playing and you think something you see would make a good screenshot, send it to us, and we might feature your screenshot with a shout-out. Just send it to us at podcast@ddoplayers.com.
All right, then. And I heard that the people at Wizards of the Coast are releasing a new game setting. Is that right?
Well, kind of.
Oh.
They are actually doing a re-release of the World of Greyhawk fantasy game setting. And of course, that is for the AD&D First Edition. It is part of their D&D Classics line. So if you, for some strange reason, do not have this, which I don't know, if you're listening to the show, chances are you probably play D&D, and you probably have played D&D for a while. Well, maybe not. But if you played D&D for a while, I'm sure you probably already have this. But if not, you can pick up the Greyhawk fantasy game setting. It's... How would you describe Greyhawk?
Well, Greyhawk, the world or the city itself?
The world.
The world. It's a very cosmopolitan styled world with a great deal of court intrigue going all over the place, especially of course centering around Greyhawk. But then you have all these little areas on the side. Since that's where I did most of my adventuring, it's hard for me to compare it to other areas, so to speak, since I never did the realms. So I don't know how it compares to how the realms are. But it's pretty much as straight D&D as you can get, because this is the world that Gygax was thinking of when he did his parts of D&D.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore you have different little areas with their own economies. You have this place for the land of the elves, land of these... I think the Scarlet Brotherhood, which I think is their name or something like that, where they are evil monks who are trying to take over. And you have the giants taking over in the west. And in fact, what tie-in there is with the realms goes in there, because the giants taking over the west led to a conspiracy with the Drow. And the Drow were introduced actually in a Greyhawk adventure called, I believe it was the Fire Knight quest, the start of third series of the Grace, led into the Descent of the Earth. And that's the first time I heard the Drow. And I don't know how they got connected to the realms afterwards on that.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore. They basically intertwined them so far into Forgotten Realms. I don't remember how it was. But yeah, it was originally created, of course, by Gary Gygax in 1980. And then it was re-released in 1983 in a box set form. And this is the actual one. Yeah. The re-released 1983 expanded edition is the one that the PDF is based off of.
Now, that is as a full-fledged world setting. It's existed in Gygax's form probably since the very beginnings of D&D. I believe the word Greyhawk is even mentioned in the original rulebook, in the preface to that. And, of course, the first supplement to the original 3 set was called Greyhawk.
Yeah, and I had saw Mr. Gygax speak at Gen Con before he passed away, and he had said from day one he always wanted to create the whole Greyhawk world, and like you said, he kind of interspaced a little bit of it in the original rules, but then he actually did the whole campaign world, and that was his original vision for Greyhawk, would be a whole realm and a whole world of itself. And he finally got to do what he wanted to do, and he was very, very proud of his work that he did, as he well should be.
Right. So therefore, that is Greyhawk, one of the major settings for D&D.
You can head over to dndclassics.com. Our drive-through RPG, either one of them has it for sale. It is $9.99 for the watermarked PDF version.
All right. Oh, and of course, one of the most famous adventures to come out of Greyhawk, out of the land of Greyhawk, is of course the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yes, I completely forgot about that until you said that, but that is based in Greyhawk. You were right. How could I forget that? As many times as I ran that adventure, I cannot believe I forgot that was based in Greyhawk.
Right, and especially when you consider that I think we mentioned it a couple of months ago when they first announced that they were doing Temple of Elemental Evil. All right, then let's go into our week in DDO. And what did you do?
This week, I took my level 10 Pure Rogue through the Faithful Departed quest, which that is actually where I got the screenshot from. I also did the Black Lock and Storm the Beaches. The Faithful Departed is a House P quest, and the Black Lock and Storm the Beaches is a House D quest, if people want to know where to find those. Then the Ranger Rogue, which is level 9, that is the one I'm running with you, Pineleaf. We were trying to figure out what to do, and I had mentioned there is a bunch of quests that is level appropriate for us in the Red Fens, and you had said you had never been in the Red Fens, so we headed out that way and ran a couple quests. In the process of doing that, I'll let you talk about the quests that we ran.
Right.
I did manage to get some of the Explorers. I got 5 of 12 of those, 143 of 7,500 Slayer, 2 of 12 on the rares, and we ran 2 quests out there. Like I said, I'll let you talk about that and the interesting experience we had in the end of one of them.
All right.
And that's about all I did in DDO, but I did do some D&D related stuff this week. I ran the second part of my Ravenloft 5e conversion with my friends, and they managed to stay alive again.
What?
Cannot believe I haven't killed them off yet. I about killed them off. They sent one of their party members in to talk to the gypsy and got their fortunes read and found out the items that they needed to find. And in the process of doing that, one of the items they found out was located in the cemetery. And they went into the cemetery, and I about killed them off versus a ghost.
But they survived.
They survived it. Luckily for them, they had a paladin with them, and the paladin, they quickly found out that none of their weapons they had on them could damage the ghost, but then the paladin started doing radiant blast stuff, and that was enough to damage the ghost, and they killed him. So I came this close. I had one of them almost dead.
Mm-hmm.
It will happen. It will happen because they are now standing at the gates of Castle Ravenloft, and they are ready to enter the castle and take on Count Strahd. And I guaranteed them I will kill them inside of the castle. My goal.
Then how are you going to continue the adventure if you kill them off?
Because my whole goal in this adventure is to kill them. The whole party needs to die. That is my goal, and it will happen.
If that is your goal.
So if any of them are listening, you are all dead. Just saying. That's the kind of DM I am. What can I say?
Apparently so.
How about you, Pineleaf? What did you do? You want to talk
All
about
right.
the quest we did in the Red Fens and the
yes.
excitement that we had?
Yeah, we'll begin with the Red Fens with my Artificer level 9 that we did. First, we did the Claw of Volcor, which included a series of jumps showing you that, yes, jumping puzzles can drive me bananas mad. It's incredible that I placed Spelunky considering what. but yes, another case where I was being completely incompetent in trying to do a particular jump, and it took me forever to get up. I went down. First time I fell down right splack into lava.
That didn't end well for you.
That didn't end well for me, but apparently the designers of the dungeon took that into account because I was able to run to a red shrine and tag it just before being yanked back to my glyph.
Yeah, I figured for sure when you said you were going to run off, I thought you're never going to make it because your soulstone's going to pull you back before you get there.
Right.
And you were like, oh, I just made it.
Yeah, just barely made it. Got back there. In fact, I might have had to do that twice, if I recall correctly. I think I fell into the lava twice in that.
Yeah, you did.
So it was a real mess, and I made a wrong turn in trying to get through the thing. Because I made a wrong turn, I wasn't going up the right way for about 10 minutes, completely everywhere in the dungeon except where I needed to go.
Yeah, and I had made the jump, so I'm standing up there trying. I have my map open and I'm seeing his dot, and I'm like directing him. Okay, now come north, go west a little bit, and then I'm like, no, turn the other way, and then it was quite. As a matter of fact, I think I might still have the audio of that phone call because it was recorded, so I might release that as some outtakes.
Fun!
Because that whole audio is hilarious to listen to. Especially Pine's reaction when he tried to make the jump the last time and he almost made it but missed.
Yeah. All right. And we also did the Last Stand.
Which something weird happened at the end of that one.
Oh, yeah. We got out we finished it. We got out successfully. Then we started heading back and we're going through the Red Fin back to camp. And then we had a green alert. All right. Wait, did we actually do something to trigger a green alert? And then almost instantly after that, we had a yellow alert. And then almost instantly after that, we had a red alert. So now we had the entirety, I think, of the Red Fin going after us all at once.
Yeah, it was insane. I don't know what tripped that alert. It was crazy. I think you ended up getting killed, didn't you?
Let's see. Did I get killed? I think so.
Yeah, I barely survived it. I mean, I had like 2 hit points left by the time it was over because it was just insane. Yeah, and then you had said you released. You didn't even stick around to wait for a res. You were just like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm out of here. We were heading toward the exit anyway.
Yeah, yeah. We were just going to turn the quest in. We were done with everything. But yeah, that was insane. I have never seen it do that. I don't know what tripped that alert. I'm trying to think of what we were fighting to begin with. It started, I think, one of the rats, maybe.
I think it was a rat or something like that.
Yeah, we like attacked a rat, and then like a wisp came in, and we attacked the wisp, and then as soon as the wisp came in, then it was the green, and then the yellow, and like you said, it was like instantly the red, and then it was just like there was like Sahag went everywhere, and there was some trolls, and there was like zombies, and it was just like insaneness ensued.
Completely insane. As a result of these adventures, though, I did finally hit, let's see, level 10 for my guild. So therefore, I went out and bought an airship, that little airship that you can get at level 10. Now, of course, there aren't any decorations in it yet or anything like that, since you need more levels before you can do that. So I have a pretty much of I guess you could say it's a flying teleport station is what it essentially is.
But you have an airship, though.
And I have an airship.
So congratulations on your airship.
Thank you. And maybe someday I'll actually have something in it other than air. All right. Now, on my Artificer level 4, I finished up on the Sharn Syndicate series. So I did Repossession, Binds of Blood, and then Come Out and Slay to finish that off. So I finished that one. I think that's going to be, since I'm doing these one character a month things on this side, that I'm going to be doing the Sharn Syndicate on all of these. And the other thing I'm going to do on all of them is going to be the Seal of Shan Tokor. So I did the Sacred Helm, Blockade, Caverns of Shang, and then the Halls of Shan Tokor. And I hit level 5 just before doing Halls. So that was good timing since Halls is a level 5 quest. But halfway through Halls, because I ran out of Thieves' Tools.
Oh no.
And the second half of that is one of the trappiest places.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So therefore, it was real fun. So therefore, I try to make sure that I'm detecting all the traps so I can at least know where they are so I can do my best to mitigate them. But yes, that was when I was really worried, was halfway through that and doing the second half of that without any tools. After that, I was trying to decide whether that will be the cutoff point for my monthly doing each character or whether I was going to try to do something else. So I thought, all right, let me see what would happen if I tried to do something from House V. And of course, the first quest there in that series is A Small Problem, a very ironic title, I must say. And there's this part near the end which includes a jumping puzzle. Now, if you all remember what happened in the Claw of Volkor, you can imagine what things were like when I'm trying to do a small problem. Now, I did do this with Drac before, and I believe I was the one who had an easier time with the jumping puzzles, but that's only because that character had a permanent feather falling item on him. So therefore, I was able to make the jumps a lot more easily. But this time, without that feather falling item, I gave up after 3 or 4 tries of going around, rinse and repeat, and that was it. So therefore, I decided it was time to go to my next character. So I created a first level barbarian for my next PD character, and I did the intro, the tomb, and the one where you get the scroll. So I'm just in the early parts of that, and I'll be doing that mostly in the month of January, where I'm going to be going through there, going through Korthos, then going through the harbor, then to Sharn, and then to Seal of Shantokor. And we'll see whether or not I survive through all of them. And that's it.
You had a pretty busy week in game this week, actually.
Well, it did help that this year where I work at had 3 days off for Christmas.
Yeah. More gameplay time. That's always good.
Yeah, that gave me more gameplay time, therefore, because we had the extra little time off for Christmas. So let's go into donations. We had no Patreon donations this week, and we also have no iTunes reviews. We are still waiting for that. We haven't had any of those yet, right?
We have not. I checked before the show to make sure, and no, we are still at 0 iTunes reviews.
We need a review out there. Yes. But we do have featured comments. So let us go into a featured comment from DDO Players News Episode 12. No Drac RNG Juju. Apparently your random number generator reference again.
That's right.
And our first one is from Mistral, and what does he say?
He says, I like the stealthy repo quest. The XP is great, it's quick, and a bit of a challenge. The key is to keep the dungeon alert down by dispatching any kobolds that aren't the prophets. It's easier to do on hard mode because the prophets have enough hit points that you don't kill them by accident. If you do it with 2 people, you have 1 kite and 1 person kill. Enjoy, and by the way, thanks for making this show.
All right. And Patrick says, concerning stealthy repossession, if you know what you are doing and have access to invisibility, this can actually be a pretty fast little XP run. Oh, yeah, invisibility, that makes it a whole lot easier.
Well, yeah, you can just zerg right through to the end. So, yeah.
Right. So what does Simple say?
He says this quest is one of the few remaining low-level watermark quests. You can use several different tactics to actually complete the quest, and when you finally realize you don't vehemently hate the quest anymore, then you've kind of arrived. You have enough gameplay experience under your belt to consider yourself a, quote, true harbor master, end quote. Look out, Mr. Zinn. Well, I can't say it's one of my favorite quests. I do consider it to be quite valuable. Elite at level completion on any given class, no sweat. It's kind of a trophy thing. Mark it off your bucket list and tackle the next mountain.
And Fuzzy Duck 81 says, stealthy repossession is a quest that means you have to take a thoughtful approach and introduces you to the concept of crowd control. A caster of some kind will probably have the easiest time in there with judicious application of hypnotism, fascinate, command, hold person, and invisibility, depending on what you have available, of course.
So it sounds like we have been put in our place, and a lot of people like that quest.
Yes, I have to agree with that. So therefore, our next comment is to the arcane adventures of Dorfin Fizzlebeard. And we have something from Dagz0. What does he say?
That quest, of course he's talking about the stealthy repossession, is notoriously tricky. Some tricks to make targeting a little easier. Hard targeting with tab instead of trying to right-click on kobolds will reduce time spent and also avoid the collateral damage that comes with soft targeting. Use Q to target inanimate objects, good for finding them too if you don't know where they are, and since it works with a radius around you. And then do E to interact rather than trying to left click. Or if you have the item targeted in your target orb thing, you can just click on its picture to grab it. The game will Prioritize left click for combat over item interaction. You can change this in the game options if you wish. If you're not a sneaky type, the easiest way to do this is just to run through as fast as you can, which does require some knowledge of the quest layout. And I usually like to take a moment to thin out their ranks when I get to stand on the ledge at the green crystal levers. If you start to get overwhelmed, you will get a dungeon alert level, which is where you notice them slowing you down. So crowd control to incapacitate them, are thinning out their ranks while as keeping up a good pace can be another way of doing it. I might suggest even taking some of the Festibalt cookies out for a spin in there, like Flesh to Stone or Dancing Spear, for example. Invisibility is a level 2 spell. Scrolls available in the marketplace will definitely help. You will need a bunch to recast after you go through the doors and switches. You are right about the sound, but if they can't see you, the extra bit of breathing space will be a great help.
All right, thank you very much. As for emails, we do not have any emails, but if you'd like to send us one, you could send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. You could tune in to our Players Alliance live shows 3 times a week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. And on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. And U.S. Eastern Time is also known as Server Time. Join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to loot those treasure chests.